Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. And on this topic, I wanted to talk about the narcissist that hides in the LGBT community. The narcissist that hides in the LGBT community. So, on this podcast, I wanted to share my experiences, me individually. And it's not to bash anyone, to judge anyone. But it's mainly to give, people an awakening and understanding of things that they might not care to understand. They might feel like they have nothing to do with it has nothing to do with them. They've already picked a side. But the thing is that the narcissist does not have any sides. So it's good to learn people. The reason, there's so much division is because narcissists like the confusion, because every group, every social setting has the opportunity, gives the narcissist the opportunity to come into character, meaning that you have narcissists who come together, in the LGBT community and who, this is who they claim they are, who they represent, but they're really hiding in the community. They're using the community to con people, to use people, to deceive people. This is like, two girls at a party or at a club kissing each other, and they're like telling each other, "Oh, we're just friends," but they're using this to get attention from what? From men, right? Because they know, hey, you can't have me, you can't touch me. Some narcissists, are behaving as lesbians, and they might consider themselves bisexual, and then they're going around partying with men to rob them. A lot of Jezebels will claim to be bisexual. They'll tell you sometimes up front, and you might think to yourself that, my girlfriend, she says she's bisexual, but she likes men more, meaning that if it doesn't work out with you, or if she, gets pregnant by a narcissist and you don't want to be a sucker, then she'll just say, hey, I'm going to go and get with that old girlfriend that I used to be with because she's single now, That old girlfriend could be a narcissist herself, and she had children too. And, back when they were partying, back when they were doing things, they were serious, but they weren't serious. Now they're both single, both have children, and now they're both lesbians, and maybe, the one who's in control might even start to change her features, and now she's a man, and she, she's like, oh, I've always been more masculine. Now I'm going to start dressing like it. So narcissists hiding in the LGBT community can either be male or female, So this video is basically going to talk about, the different scenarios that you will be dealing with when it comes to narcissists who are hiding in the LGBT community, whether they're out in front of you showing you, hey, this is who I am, but even who they say they are isn't who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always a mask within that mask. As an empath, you want to make others happy. You don't want people to feel pain because you know what pain feels like. And you also understand how hate can also come out of pain, and how some people will direct their hate at whoever is in front of them, around them. And sometimes it could be the people you love. Sometimes it could be, strangers. People direct their anger, especially when something happens to them and that person isn't around to defend yourself. They just, they did what they did, and that's it. So The narcissist is someone who takes out their rage in a way where, they've already went through mental breakdowns where, they take things over the top and get themselves in trouble, and they learn how to get away from certain situations, and they learn how to be sneakier. And this is where that compulsive behavior comes, where they have this little smirk on their face, right? From what I've realized about narcissists in the LGBT community, just because growing up, a lot of gay men were drawn to me. I remember being in middle school, high school, and then, in those times, I didn't really, question people's sexuality. I didn't really think too much into it. You go to school with people, you befriend people, they befriend you. But I remember asking, this person that was basically my best friend, and I remember asking them, like, did you get molested? And I know at the time, I was a kid. I don't know why, I don't, like, thinking back now, I'm like, why would you ask someone, such an invasive question? I've also experienced situations where I for sure knew certain people in my family, or people that I was close to, that had got molested, that were men, or that if they weren't molested, they just had certain experiences where, they might have been taking showers with another man or doing certain things, even if, they didn't do anything later on down the line. They thought about those things, and they thought about the fact that maybe they're a little bit more feminine because they had more sisters, or they were around their mothers more, So I gathered information like this, and a lot of times the gay men in my life, I'm not going to say a lot of times, every single time I've had gay men in my life, they've betrayed me, even my own family member. Because, when you're the black sheep, you're going against your family, So I have a male cousin who he went against the family. He can point out the narcissistic traits in these people just like I can. But then he cannot point out the narcissistic traits within himself, meaning that he betrayed me in some ways, and I let them know what they did. And they were able to apologize, but it was in a way where it's just like how narcissists are able to apologize to you and not really mean it. They're just basically like, okay, let's get over this. It was more about him wanting to share his story, his life, his pain, and overlooking that some of the stuff that went on in his life, he caused it. He wasn't able to accept that. He cared more about changing others' perspectives than seeing things from everyone's, position. And I started to see certain qualities about that. A lot of lies, because this person's insecure with themselves, so they hide things, they hide relationships, they hide who they are. You'll tell them, like, hey, everyone, like, there's this secret conversation in this narcissistic family. Everyone knows that this person is gay. They just don't want to talk about it, right? No one wants to be direct and speak up. And as someone who is there for this type of person, whether they're gay, whether they're narcissistic, you're trying to help them, right? They won't be all the way open with you. They still won't. They won't, some people will, some people won't. And they don't, like, when you start asking questions of were you created this way? Did you always know this? A lot of narcissists, they never want you to know who they really are, just the facade. And that's what I realized in this situation with this family member. It's like they don't want you to get any ideas of why they might be this way. Right? They're thinking to themselves, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I had an experience with a man and it made me this way, and that's not what it is, right? Because when you think about it, women go through situations like this too. You get molested or you get into experiences with the opposite sex sometimes when you're a child, and it doesn't have to come from an adult. It could be kids exploring other kids, and you can probably think back and say, oh, I remember when, my girlfriend was trying to kiss with me, and things like that. And I'm not saying this for everyone. I'm saying when you're coming from narcissistic families, there's ancestry, there's all type of stuff going on in these families. There's, big parties, friends, children, strangers, and people that bring different sexual things to the plate. They're bringing all these things that you've never seen and they're serving it to you. And you get older and you will look back and you're like, certain situations could easily scar you in a way where it affects you later on in the future. And then certain situations you're like, yes, this happened to me. Yes, maybe I kissed a girl, but it didn't affect me in the future because that's not my preference. I don't like girls. Yes, I had an experience where, maybe someone invaded me and, but as an adult, I know for sure, this is what I like men. I don't like women, right? So people feel, most people in the LGBT community, when you're asking those type of questions, it's disrespectful because it's like a lot of people have different type of experiences, and it doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen to them in the future. That's just, hey, I tried both sexes and this is what I like, right? So everyone in the LGBT community basically has a story, everyone has different experiences. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, from my experience and being around people in the LGBT community, narcissists are people that like attention no matter what, right? It's like, being at school and there's a friend, right? She doesn't fit in with your clique at all. She wants to fit into your clique. So she goes after the person that she might feel is the weakest link or someone who has a lot of empathy. And she uses this person to get into the clique because what she's seeking is attention from people in this clique, right? This is how narcissists use people. They've been doing this for, since they were kids. So they change their character, they mimic this person, and they feel like if you have been accepted into the group and you're the empath in the group, I can take certain traits about you. I can study everyone in your group from a distance. I can get into your group, now pay close attention, listen in, and study the things that these people want. Give them the image of the things that they like, So this is why certain narcissists, they have to impress you with certain clothes, shoes, cars. It's all about an image. And the image is only to have access to attention. Attention is supply. Attention gives them the drive to master this group and go to another group that they feel might be better. They want to know what it is that these people like. those things that they want to become these things just to later on make these people envious, right? So what I noticed in relationships that I had with people in the LGBT community when I was, younger, the things that I pay attention to now was that, there were relationships with men that, were being, with men that were considered straight, that were secrets, and I'm thinking to myself, like, no, the football player, he's dating a cheerleader. Now I'm wondering why this football player wants to be my friend all of a sudden. And I'm not really thinking about it, in too deep at the time, but I realize now that when me and this person became friends, they became friends with me because they knew that I was friends with this gay person who spilled the beans to me. And even though he didn't know that I knew these things, he befriended me, and later on he exposed himself to me because he already knew that I knew, and I had to know if I was dealing with this person. So, when I say that the narcissist hides in the LGBT community, I say this. The narcissist is someone who is sex driven, and they know that they can get things out of people because people get emotional, and because they cannot attach themselves to people, and they mimic people, and all they care about is it's the superficial stuff, right? To the narcissist, to them it's like I could be dominant or I could be submissive. So to the narcissist could be dominant towards you, controlling, possessive, evil to you. And you can think, why are they nice to the new supply? They can, all of a sudden they're submissive to that person. They're doing all the things that you are begging them to do. And yeah, they can sit here and say it's maybe because you are too masculine and this person's feminine, right? But that's not what it is. Is that the narcissist goes from being a masculine person to being a feminine person. They go back and forth within themselves. This is why they cannot connect with anyone. This is why, partners are nothing but sex partners to them, and people that they can use. And they're never satisfied with one person because to them, the narcissist has played both fields before, so you might think to yourself, like, yeah, certain people go through certain experiences when they're young. Later on in life, they make their choice. The narcissist never has made a choice. They basically, it's about an image and what can fit best in their life. So if they know their family doesn't play like that, they're going to be a womanizer. They're going to be having secret sexual encounters with their friends even. And all these men might seem like they're masculine, but they're all in on it. So this is what I've learned from a young age from watching the LGBT community and narcissists, is that some narcissists, you'll consider them womanizers, and some narcissists are full blown, in the LGBT community, changing genders, being extra flamboyant. And sometimes the reason they chose to play that role, even with lesbians, I'm talking about LGBT narcissists, even with lesbians, they've decided at a young age, they could have been in middle school, elementary school, they were dabbing in both sexes. They like the attention that they were getting from having a play girlfriend and a real boyfriend, having a best friend that they were best friends with, but secretly doing things with. So they like being in control and feeling like, hey, when this person leaves, I'll go to the next person. It might be even the opposite sex. It's about having multiple people and never feeling like you're going to be the one losing, because they know what people look and feel when they're losing. They don't like to lose. So to them, it's about winning. It's about control. So when narcissists decide, hey, I'm going to be a lesbian, I get to be around the boys, I get to tease them, they want to turn me out, but I'm not really a lesbian. My partner thinks I'm a lesbian. This is a narcissistic person. They're never fully committed to this woman. This woman starts to feel like maybe she likes men. She's like, no, if I wanted a man, I would be with a man, right? So in lesbian couples, if you're dealing with a narcissist, you're going to feel like this person doesn't really like women like that. Like it's just to play around. It's just to tease men. Even if this woman is feminine, right? She's not, she's a feminine woman, and she's like, I don't like men. If you would have known that she did like men, and it's not so much that she does like men, it's that she wasn't truthful to you. Because if you weren't truthful, I can go and be with someone that is like me, right? She's never forming a complete emotional tie with you, so it's easy to just leave you and move on to the next person. A lot of times it could seem like, yeah, it's another woman, and you're thinking, oh, she moved on with another woman. That does not hide the fact that this narcissist lesbian hiding in the LGBT community, even if she's dressed, more like a man, even if she's more manly, right? She might feel like she wanted to live a different life, but she wasn't able to do that because of how she looks. This doesn't mean that she's not wearing a mask, and even if she moves on to someone else, there's hatred towards that person, or that person might have children and they don't want to deal with men anymore, and she takes advantage of that situation just like a man would, But a lot of times she's making plans on being with a man. She's been baiting this person. She might even had threesomes with this person. She's having threesomes with men. And when she finds one that has a real hook, now she's with him. Next thing you know, this person's pregnant, and you're thinking, hey, I thought they were a lesbian. They pretended to be a lesbian. She might even, discard you, get pregnant, come back and say, hey, I didn't want to be with a man. It's complicated. You have children. I just wanted children of my own, because the narcissists, they don't really have a preference when it comes to sexuality. And that's what the main purpose of this video is. And this is why you'll never have a deep connection with this person, not just because of that, but because they're keeping things from you. If you don't really know who someone is and what they like, you'll never be able to fulfill them if you don't know what they like. And because the narcissist knows that you'll never be able to fulfill them, they know that they can never fully connect themselves to you. So this is why it's easy, for them to leave. Now, I've ran across narcissists that, of course, they act very homophobic. You have a lot of narcissists who are intelligent. They're not dumb. They know if they act homophobic, you're going to find something wrong with it. Sometimes there's narcissists that act homophobic, and you're thinking to yourself, they're too homophobic. That means that they are gay because they're too homophobic. And sometimes that's not the case either. the narcissist just likes to confuse you. You know, some narcissists are very welcoming to the LGBT community, and they'll tell you, you know, I don't have a problem with gay people. I'm just not gay myself, and I don't like that. And it's a lie. I've seen it. Like it's a lie, because they don't want people to know, because it's like they have kids. They might have kids, they might be married. They have a mask, they have a facade. Some of them do things secretly without you knowing, and a lot of times it really doesn't have anything to do with, that being their preference. It's that it's all about being able to do things behind your back and doing things that they know would hurt you. Because if it hurts you, it means that they have power. And if they have power, that's all they need. They feel like, I have power. I have the drive. I have the motivation to make my next move, to make my dreams happen. And it fills that void that they feel, that feeling that they feel where they feel like they can't deeply connect to someone. It fills that void, because it's like, I'm feeding these demons that I have, these secrets that I have. With narcissists in the LGBT community as well, there's some narcissists that are very feminine, but they're not necessarily gay. It's just that they're very feminine, and people assumed that they were. And they kept getting that same question over and over again. Women are not attracted to them. Certain women might not be attracted to them. They know that maybe it's because they're too nice, too clean cut. They know that they're feminine, and they feel like they can't find someone that, can connect to them, and they feel like they can't find someone who can, connect with them. And there's some narcissists that, are not just feminine, but they're not very attractive, not to make anyone feel bad, but they're just not very attractive, right? And the type of women that they want, they can't get, right? The type of women that they want, they can't get. And they're not very attractive, and they're feminine. So after people keep telling you that over and over again, you start, as a narcissist, you start using that to your advantage. You have to get in the mind of a narcissist. Hey, I need attention. I'm not getting it. People say I'm this or that. I start fighting them. I'll start fighting them. I don't care if it's a girl, I'll fight you. Very catty, instigators, gossipy, starting stuff, and, just being flamboyant, and, it gets attention from other women, and women assume that they're gay, and the narcissist decides finally to say to themselves that that's what they are. They're like, I am gay. If this gets me popularity, it's better than not being noticed. It's better than being invisible. It's better than being bullied. It's better than people calling me names and making fun of me. So, yeah, I'll go along with it. Then you have, now they get to talk to the women that they've always wanted to talk to. And they study these women. They study everything about them, the way they talk, the way they feel. They want to be in their rooms. They want to be looking at all their nice things. They want to play dress up. They want to play with your makeup. They want to go and get some of your lip gloss. They can't believe they're close to you. they're studying you, but you've never seen them with any boys. This person's never had a boyfriend. You know, you're like, oh, let me hook my other gay friend with him. My other friend that also gets bullied, but he's super funny. Let me hook them up. Or he's good looking. He's actually really good looking. He's really, really good looking. And this person could be a full-blown narcissist themselves, just a different type of narcissist. And then they're attracted to each other because they're both narcissists and they both, have this deep secret that they're secretly still into women. Or they might feel like, they share the same traumas and they almost feel like, why did you hook me up with them? We share the same traumas. We're looking for someone masculine. We're both too feminine for each other, and they're looking for narcissists that are almost like in the closet, They're looking for those type of narcissists. That's what they're attracting. But because they feel like they can connect with each other more, because they understand each other more than how they would understand a woman's perspective, they feel like they're more alike. They'll tell themselves that they like men more, right? Reason being is because once they get around the type of women that they've always wanted to be around, and they study them, and they start to think to themselves, don't you know that they're looking at them as being sloppy. Yes, they're the pretty girls, but they're almost looking at it like, if I was you, I would do this differently. And they start trying to mold you. They're telling you how you're supposed to look. They're telling you, hey, you can look way much better. They're looking at what you can do to improve yourself, because that's just how most narcissists are. And you'll find them to be very critical, even though that, they're paying attention to detail, they're studying very well. But this is where that hate will come from, this secret hate, from these type of narcissists that are hiding in the LGBT community. And this is what makes them feel like, I want your man, But not only that, they also feel like they know things that you don't know. And this is why, they're winning. But then they know they're not allowed to tell, and they're seeing that they're spending more time with you, and that's, the jealousy, the hate, the envy. So this is why I say I've experienced, like, with people that I'm close to where, they're in the LGBT community, but they are confused about who they are, or either they're confused and they're behaving narcissistically, because they're being influenced by that narcissist spirit that is influencing the LGBT. So, of course, not everyone in the LGBT community is narcissistic, but just like, in our community, when we talk about these things, it's not a lot of empaths either. They hate these women so much that they even start dressing like them, trying to be them, stealing their personalities, bits and pieces, right? And making it humorous. And, they'll get flirty with your boyfriends and joke around. They'll gossip, they'll start stuff. These type of narcissists, are very cunning, because they deeply hate you. They pretend like they're your friends, but they have this deep hate for you because they feel like they were never able, they didn't even have a chance to amount to what they wanted to be. They felt like, hey, I had to be something that I don't want to be. I don't choose to be this way. And, some of them feel like, hey, it took me a long time to accept me and who I am and how I'm different, you know? But there's this deep hate still, which makes them very messy. And I'm not talking about everyone in the LGBT community. I'm talking about narcissists, because there's empaths, and that don't seek out to hurt people, but narcissists, they seek to hurt people. They're people who are very, very dark, very demented, very soulless, but to like another level, a very cunning level. So in one hand, you have these narcissists that, they're open, you know, um, and they feel like you're the one being lied to, and you're the intruder, really. Just like a new supply would feel. So this person could be a narcissist and really not care, really, wish the worst on you, or this person could be an empath, but they're behaving in a very narcissistic level because they have went deep down that rabbit hole. Then you have the narcissist who is playing both sides. You're thinking they hate that person they're with. You're jealous of this person's jealous of you. And the narcissist is like, I don't care about anyone, because there's no emotion, there's no connection at all. Whether you're a woman or a man, there's no connection. It's fake. And they come to understand, just like everyone else, that this world, that you're on your own, that you have to look out for yourself. They understand these things. So they look for ways so that they can be able to manipulate people, So a lot of them will do this. They'll play this game. And then a lot of them will pretend like, like they're straight. And then, they're having these encounters behind your back. And all of them will know about it as a group, they'll, enjoy in that. And this is why a lot of them, they try to pass around women, and you'll find yourself like, you'll wonder how you ended up in certain situations. Sometimes they set you up to be with their friends, and you're thinking to yourself, that everything is just coincidence, but it's not. The narcissist is someone who exploits the LGBT community. They exploit people, period. And they're going to use any community, anything, anything to get clout off of that. It's like getting clout off of a title or another video or duplicating something. The narcissist, could be deep into the LGBT community, and they could, envy the fact that the kind of women that they did want, these type of women would never find them attractive. And now that they've been studying these women through their status, and they've had relations with narcissists who are with these women, who are sharing stories with them. They're having relationships with these type of men, these type of narcissists. Now they copy the narcissist to exploit the woman. So they're stealing game from greater narcissists. So they go from someone who is supporting their community, right? Or that's what they're claiming, to now they're out of that community and they're, wearing this facade. They're blending in. What's sick about this is that if they come from a narcissistic family and they take over a business, or they take over, let's just say, their parents are into the church, now they're into the church, and now they get married and they're living this perfect picture lifestyle, all of it is being done in a cunning way. You know, the reason I always like to revisit, narcissists in the LGBT community is because, when you're with a narcissist, I've made videos on this, on them being feminine and things like that. And with me, I feel like because of the relationship, there was so much gaslighting. But when you start revisiting certain things that these people say and you backtrack to memories of people that are close to you, people that you've studied growing up, and you're like, nah, this has to have some type of connection because I've seen too much, I've heard too much, and I've been gaslit so much that the truth is right in front of you, but at the same time, they'll tell you the truth so you can think it's not the truth, and then they'll tell you that's what you want me to say because that's the only thing you can come up with. If that's what you want to think about me, then that's what you want to think about me. Go ahead. They'll tell you the truth, but then they'll lie, they'll twist it to make you look crazy. Part of the gaslighting too is that, some men are feminine and they're not in the LGBT community. So narcissists, they don't care whether they're feminine, masculine, but these are tactics that gaslight you into not knowing the truth. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if this person's masculine, feminine. If this person is a narcissist, it's going to show by the control, by the manipulation, by the gaslighting, the lies, what they can get out of the situation. No remorse, no compassion, no empathy. Not giving you a choice, but at the same time giving you a choice. Planting seeds, and them knowing your emotional intelligence and exploiting it and making you believe that that was what you wanted while telling you the truth. They're denying the truth. They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you, okay, if that's what you think, if you think that's what I am, then that's what I am. Whatever. Why would you want to be with someone who is gay then? Why would you want to be with someone who is on the down low then? That says a lot about you. So the gaslighting will just keep going and going and going because these type of narcissists will never take accountability. I remember, years ago going to like a downtown area with my guy cousins and their guy friends. And I remember this guy running into this guy or whatever. And one of the guys that was with us said, those shoes that guy has on are really, really expensive. Like they cost thousands of dollars. Me, myself, I couldn't tell the difference because I'm not really a sneaker type of person as far as like collecting certain type of sneakers and stuff like that. I just, get whatever I like. But certain people go, like, they study, sneakers hardcore and they can tell right away. So I remember him saying that, and I'm thinking to myself, a lot of narcissists are materialistic people. So you're going to see that stuff like that turns them on. So if you're dealing with a narcissist, man, you'll see that it turns them on. It's like, just like a narcissist woman, she could be a gold digger, right? So that was one of the first signs that I saw in my cousin's friend or whatever. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, guys are very competitive. But he basically goes up to this guy, he's talking to him, all the boys are talking to him. I'm kind of like in the background, minding my business. And then the guy that they were trying to talk to start trying to talk to me. And I kind of was like, whatever about it. And he just kept trying to talk to me. And then he's like, how about, like, he's like, my condo is like literally right here, like right on the downtown strip, right area. And he's like, you guys want to come up and like hang out or whatever. And all the guys were just so trusting, like, okay, let's go, like right away, right? So we all went, and when we got upstairs, he's like, I have beers, I have like, wine, I have like wine coolers, I have a whole bunch of stuff. And he's like, he's living in like one of these expensive condos, and it's like decked out with a nice view, and balcony and everything, right? So I'm just like hanging around, there's like literally cameras everywhere, hidden. So I'm just not saying too much because I know that there's cameras that are hidden, but I can see them, and none of the boys were paying attention. But everyone starts having a good time, and you know how guys play around with other guys and say like really homo things. It's like that's what the conversation was basically about all night. It was just like guys going at it, and they were all going at it with this guy that invited us to the condo. They're going at it with him. They're flirting with him. You know, they get, drinks in their system. They start saying really, really crazy things. And I'm thinking everything's a joke, right? But at the same time, I'm like, wow, like some of these jokes, they're kind of pushing it, real far or whatever. But you ignore it and you think boys are boys, but they are very, it's almost like it was true. Like I didn't think any of it was a lie. And I'm like, how do these guys who act very masculine, like they want to go to downtown to go to the bar, become so feminine like this, right? To me, it was weird. But it reminded me of the narcissist that I was with and how he was when it came to his friends or meeting new friends that had money, clinging on to people, clinging on to men, expecting other men to pay for stuff. Just like how they expect women to pay for stuff. So initially, when I met my cousin's friend, he was obviously, he was hitting on me the whole time, but like I said, his whole personality, his whole aura changed around this dude. And when I met him, I already felt his narcissistic energy. What I picked up on, the same energy that when I was with that narcissist that I was with. It's like this very sketchy vibe. It's like it's not so much, a lot of people, it's like they have big personalities, but you can feel their energy. You can feel it's authentic. It's like they're playing that role of that person, but then there's something sneaky, something off about them. And, by the end of the night, they all, wanted to keep communication with this guy, but he gave me his information only, and he didn't give any of his information to anyone else. And he was just kind of like, hey, if you're downtown, like, we can always hang out or whatever. And when I got home, the first thought that my cousin's friend said was, oh, we need to rob him. And I thought it was the craziest thing. That's when he showed his jealousy and his narcissism. It was this envy, this jealousy that I could get something that he can't get, and something that he was working so hard to build a friendship within this person, and to be rejected. It was like, okay, well, I want to get my karma and I want to use you. And they try to make a fool out of you. They want to dumb you down, to control you. And that's what I realized with this person. And, not only this person, but I've seen this happen to people who are even empaths, and they're being controlled by a narcissist. And they might not even be empaths. They might be pretending to be empaths at this point, because there's some stuff that I just wouldn't even do under the narcissist's control, but I've seen people, tell the narcissist, oh, this guy was flirting with me, he lives alone, and then next thing you know, the narcissist goes and finds it an excuse to rob them. Even with, narcissist women who, um, go and get together with other women to hijack men. Sometimes they're hijacking men and bringing back food to the narcissist man, and the narcissist manipulated her to go out. See, I come from a good family, so to me, what this man had, it didn't impress me. I didn't look at any of it. I don't look at what people have as something to be jealous of. If anything, I'm like, oh, that's nice. Like I'm going to give you your props. I'm going to want to see you do good. It I could never, think of doing something malicious to someone and I'm seeing that they're doing good for themselves. But for a narcissist to think that once being rejected, that shows how dangerous a narcissist could be, not just to people in the LGBT community, but to anyone. Because that's their train of thought, is to get other people at all times, at all costs, and sometimes they want to do it right away because they don't benefit from it. So narcissists, they want to steal your opportunities, because they couldn't get in. But if they could have gotten in, they would have taken their time to milk that person out of their time and resources. The narcissist will switch up their personality, and they could be masculine with you, but they might get around a man and become very feminine, and it's really crazy, right? But that's what I was basically witnessing. And, I look at all my experiences in my life. I know no one's the same. I can't look at people the same, but I just look at behaviors. The narcissist, will change completely if they have the right source in front of them. The narcissist is the type of person that they can meet someone at work who is very wealthy and simply break up with you because they want to spend more time with this friend who might not be gay, right? He's straight, might even have a girlfriend, might be married. But the narcissist wants to be like him to the point where he gets obsessed over him, where it almost seems like he's in love with him, right? So the narcissist is the type of person that will literally break up with you because they want to spend more time with someone, and you're thinking to yourself, that's your brother, or but it's like there's this attraction where this person is fueling them, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm motivating you too. I'm motivating you to be a better person as well. That's not fair. I'm there for you. But it seems like you can be giving them the same support that this man is giving them, but they can only respect that man's support because there's something that's missing in their life, and because of their inability to trust you as a woman. So even if the narcissist trusts you, they'll be wanting to impress the same sex because they might feel like, no, all women are liars, or they say that to you because they want you to think that the reason they can't get close to you is because of that. But the reality is that someone else has got their attention, and this person doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's even aware that this is what's going on in the narcissist's mind. Sometimes the narcissist can get with people in the LGBT community and say to themselves, I've never had a gay friend, and they're lying, right? They get close to this person because they feel like they want that person's life. They feel like, hey, I'm not really gay. I've been with other gay men, but I'm going to tell you I've never been with any, that you're my first friend I've ever even had. I'm going to listen to you talk to me about your problems, your childhood, your relationship with your family because you came out the closet, the strength. I can see that you're a very strong person because you've tolerated a lot of, harassment from people and you don't care. You're independent, you're free, you're a free person. You're finally out in the real world. But I'm going to crush those dreams for you, right? The narcissist is already thinking to themselves that you're trusting them with your story. So they're going to give you the story that they know you want to hear. And then they're going to tell you, hey, I've never been, to be honest, with another man. And, I thought about it. Or they might come off as just friends. Like, oh, we could be friends. I don't mind being friends with someone who's in the LGBT community. And then they're really looking at what you have, exploiting your pain. They're flying out to a new neighborhood where people don't know them so they can behave this way with you. They might not want to go out in public with you like that, or at least if they go out in public, they don't want to be affectionate with you because they want to pretend like you're just friends. But when you're at the house, they're watching movies with you. It's like a full-blown relationship. And it can go for a long time because there's no one around that knows who they are, So they'll do this and they'll never be emotionally tied to you. And they could be, living double, triple lives because they could have other people that, they have children with even, or they might tell you, I don't like women anymore. I had kids, but I made a mistake. And later on they leave you and go back and you're wondering, I thought you said you weren't into women anymore. I'm not. I just want to be with my kids. So, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but narcissists, they're in the LGBT community and they're implanting things in people's heads, and they're implanting things in children's heads too. And that's the scary part, because people in the LGBT community, they'll tell you they're not proud of certain things or they don't believe in certain things, but the narcissists are even infiltrating the whole community and what it stands for and what it's been through. So that's my take, my observations, my experiences, and it gets really deeper. It really does. It gets really deeper, and it actually gets very, very sinister, very sinister. But one thing that I will say is watch your children. Watch your children. Watch what they see, what they hear, all these things, because they'll say, oh no, we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. We're not forcing anything. People, we all change as we grow. We all evolve. But when someone plants seeds in your mind, those seeds do grow. And narcissists have this thing where everything that you do, you think it's coming from you, and it's not really coming from you. And you'll tell yourself, yes, it is. No one taught me this. No one gave me these ideas. The narcissist, yeah, they manipulated me, but not everything. Sometimes you have people in your life that, they plant small things. They do small things. And sometimes when someone did it to them in a sneaky way, they go and do it to someone else in a sneaky way. So, I'm sending you guys lots of love. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, share, comment down below, and share your experiences, your thoughts, your intake in this subject. Anything that you feel you can relate to. And if you guys want to book a session with me, my booking information is on the description. Just give me about 24 hours to respond to you. And as always, I'll talk to you guys on the next podcast. Love you guys. Bye.